I saw why you do that.
Cool. You saw on the video, or you saw when I said it?
I just wanted to see if you guys thanked me on the camera for the drink.
We did.
I know.
That was it. And then you stopped it. Like, fuck these guys. That's what happened. Heard them enough.
Sanchez took his second sip and was like, that's so good. And I was like, job done.
Oh, gotcha. You mean that's all you needed was the satisfaction of you hooked us up with some dopeness.
Yep.
Okay. None of the wisdom, the godly wisdom we profess. We skipped a week. You want to talk about that? Or just pretend it didn't happen?
We could talk about it.
JD, really? Like, this is all like...
No, it's fine. We could talk
all
about
areas I have to make sure you're okay with going.
I'm fine with being...
You are not fine.
Vulnerable.
No.
I like it.
No.
It's hard to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'm okay with publicly talking about it. It's just hard in the moment.
Your mic is below your mouth again. Tilt it if you want to get down there. Just tilt it lower. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So... yeah, but that's not what happened last week.
Yeah, because I didn't want to just sit here and cry on camera.
I don't know if it was just that. That's what vulnerable is. It wasn't just...
And I didn't want to talk, like I wasn't ready.
Right. So you weren't ready to be vulnerable and da-da-da.
Yeah, but I'm okay with like talking about it when I'm ready. Like I'm not trying to hide it. What?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're trying to hide anything. I'm saying that that's okay. Last week we sat down to do a podcast and we didn't put it out.
Yeah.
I had to go, do we turn this off and stop it? That's the first time ever I've had to do that. I've done a lot of podcasts at this point.
Yeah.
Not with a ton of different people. But with you, this is relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, let's see how to put this. Yeah. Like I know the value of talking.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
And I do it.
Yeah.
And I practice it.
But I know it too.
You know it theoretically, but then there's this like you resist it. When it gets strong emotions, you resist talking. You like shut down.
Yeah, like I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
I'm not ready.
Right. And what I'm saying is there's almost never a time I'm not ready. It's hard to empathize.
Yeah.
Though I get that you're suffering in pain and feel it, but I'm going, well, the thing that you should do is talk.
Yeah.
You should actually talk about exactly what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is going, no, I just need to feel it or not feel it, or I don't know exactly what you're doing. And maybe you can explain it, but we had to stop because you were having a bad day or a bad moment. Mm-hmm. And talking about anything. We weren't even talking about the thing, and you couldn't talk.
I couldn't because it was like I didn't want to talk about that, what we were talking about. I didn't want to talk about it. I couldn't because my mind was like on the boys.
Yeah, you wanted to process the boys, but then it wasn't really the call to do that.
Yeah.
It was like we were praying in the moment, and it was like, which is again is a tricky thing about podcasting is how much of our real life and thoughts are we sharing?
Yeah.
How much are we being vulnerable in this public forum is always a thing, and we have to pray. Now you were ready to talk about the boys, but it was the call not to, and I tried to pivot and talk about something else, and so it was clear that you couldn't talk about anything but the boys and what happened, but we couldn't do that on air necessarily. But then we started going that way, and you still couldn't do that. Like you just didn't want to do anything.
I just like kept crying and crying. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm fine.
Nah. Don't say like, what was that? You just got teary right there. What was that?
No, I don't know.
What was that feeling?
Stop.
What? You saying I'm so vulnerable is awesome, and then the minute you
It
start to get
is.
vulnerable, it's like it's an interesting thing to me. The game that some people I know play, you're one of them, which is yeah, vulnerable is awesome, and then we get into it, and you're like nah. There's like this interesting, I want to do it, but if I'm crying, I don't want to do it.
No, like I feel like I need to like process first. Like
That's what this is.
I don't want to like talk about it and process it at the same time.
That's what it is. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I know, but I need like some time.
No, processing
Like,
is talking.
I know,
So like
but
that's
I literally can't talk about it because I'm crying.
yeah,
so
but right
much.
now talking about crying made you cry. Literally right now, and then you're backing away from that topic. You don't even want to talk about crying.
No. Where were we?
We're in a podcast in our gallery with a painting that we're not talking about yet because I was trying to give a background on we missed a week.
Yeah.
And we are trying to be consistent
Yeah.
with this podcast thing. It's new.
Mm-hmm.
And even so much of like, I was going to add other people on here and you were like, nah, just us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Just us. But then you're like, but I can't do it all the time. And it's like, why can't you do this all the time?
I can do it all the time.
You are literally right now being extremely emotional. and you cannot talk. Like it's actually fascinating that you even want to podcast / vlogcast when you really don't like talking. Vlog, yes. Someone came in and argued with me. Like, I was like, oh, we're doing a podcast. And like, oh, where can I hear it? I'm like, well, on YouTube only. She's like, well, that's not.
Yeah, it was like a visual podcast.
Yeah, it's what I mean. Literally, people only podcasts I listen to are on YouTube. I don't like go on to like.
Yeah, I don't watch those either.
Put 'em
like on
in-
your radio.
Yeah, like I don't listen to podcasts.
Actually, I do.
I don't. I watch them, or read them in the subtitles as they're going.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow. It's like trying to.
I don't know why I'm so emotional.
No, it's okay. The emotional is not bad.
No, I know.
It's fine to be emotional.
know.
It's
I
okay
know.
that you live there.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's that you can't be a podcaster
No.
and like claim that you want to be vulnerable when you get to those moments and you're like, I don't want to, I can't. We're not talking about what I'm feeling. You get what I'm saying?
I get it, but I feel like I don't know, like.
Like you just teared up several times. If you saw it or not, like I see it. Okay, so, and I'm going, that's the good stuff. That's where we should go. Wherever those feelings are, that's what we should talk about. And you're going, no. So, like, okay, so it's like, let's talk about something more shallow. Let's talk about clothes. But then you're like, they don't fit me.
I'm no help when I'm like this emotional.
That's not, these are false narratives. I think that's a false narrative. Number one, false narrative that you shouldn't be crying. False narrative that you can't talk when you're crying. I've seen you do it all, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay that, like, it's okay that you're crying. It doesn't, but you use it as a stop. Like, I'm going to bring your mom up. Your mom, like, wants to talk, but then she's like, but if I start crying, I can't talk. And then it's like the crying part's it's not a stopper.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but there's something that built into either it's societal or familial or your own narrative that if I'm crying, I can't go through it.
No,
It's
I
a
don't
little
think
bit like
that's it.
pain when you're working out or something.
I don't think that's it.
Okay, well, what is it?
I don't know. I think people do that.
Do what?
Like crying is like a stopping point where like they just
Yeah. But
But
that's literally what you're doing right
I
now
know, but
in this
only
moment.
because like I literally can't talk because I'm crying so much and like I feel like I need like some time to like process because it's like so busy inside of me that like I don't want to talk.
Okay.
I just like need some time.
Right. And this is what I'm trying to help you understand, and anybody watching our 15 viewers. Or maybe it's 2 people that watch it hella times over and over. That's exactly right. The busyness in your mind doesn't get processed on your own. It gets processed by talking.
Yeah, I agree.
Like by talking to me or a good listener that cares and is not judging and you feel safe. So it doesn't have to be me. It could be, that's what therapists are used for, and like good friends and good family. But it's what we all ought to be. But we know that's not true because people are all kinds of crazy and bad. So what I'm trying to say to you is that you ought to talk through that stuff and process it on the fly. You should. And you're saying, I can't. I need to go on my own and process. So it's like a oxymoron or a contradiction. I'm going, the only way to properly process what you're doing is to get it out, is to talk about it, write about it, etc.
Yeah,
and you're going, no, I can't. I need to go by myself and spin. Like, that's not processing. That's dwelling.
It's not
That's
that.
ruminating. That's
like, I don't want to sit here and like cry talk. Like, I feel like
but what does it, again, you're repeating yourself. I don't want to. Okay. So we're back to like, what does it matter what you want? I'm saying what you need. I'm saying objectively what people need.
I know.
And you're going, I don't want to. And that's back to like your mom. It's wrong. It's like, I don't want. You're literally saying, I don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
It's what you get mad at Ryler for not doing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to cry in front of everybody. And my point is because you're so trying to avoid crying in front of everybody, you end up crying in front of everybody because you don't do it. Like, we are emotional humans, and I think the way we're supposed to sort of roll through this world is process our emotions immediately when they come up. But if you're not doing that and you're letting it build up, and then you're going, I don't want to talk about this because I don't want to cry in front of you, then it builds up more, and eventually you just burst out crying.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So it's wrong. It's like, if you would have done it when you felt it immediately, and as it comes, just keep talking about, I feel this, I feel this, I feel this.
I agree with you. It's hard though.
Yeah, I understand it's hard. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to let your guard down and show your cry face, etc. But I think the key is to go, I'm okay if I have to cry here, but I'm going to keep processing. And with that, it's something like if you write a little tiny bit throughout the day, at the end of the day, you have written a lot. Yeah. And if you're writing truth and writing what's on your heart and mind a little bit throughout the day, the intensity maybe it comes up and then passes through. Is somebody at the door? No, you're looking out that way.
Huh?
You are looking out by the door.
No.
You weren't looking at me.
Sorry.
There's 2 doors in here. You're looking at that door, literally. And I go, is somebody at the door? And you look at the other door.
Well, I heard something over there.
But you're looking over here.
But I thought you were
What were you looking at over there?
I don't know. I was just thinking. I was thinking about what you're saying.
Oh, and you just were doing the eye thing. What?
The eye.
Yeah, like
The
the like
ceiling eyes.
kind of. I do that. I totally do that. Like when I'm really trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, how you feeling?
Fine.
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 Awesome.
Alright.
That's part of the problem because you don't go. What am I actually feeling?
Better. I don't know. We were talking about last Tuesday,
Mhm. And what happened?
and then I was like, I had a shit day this Tuesday too.
Oh, so the double shit Tuesdays.
Hella Tuesdays.
Avoid Tuesday. Maybe you should podcast on Tuesday and process it. Or do you think your Tuesdays are doomed from now on?
No, we just had 2 shit Tuesdays.
Do you want to talk about it? We're on a podcast to talk.
No,
Is
I
there
don't
a
know. Like, we don't want to talk about.
It's not that we don't
What
want to.
happened?
It's about the call.
Yeah,
It's not about what we want.
I know.
It doesn't matter if you want to talk about something or not. If you're prompted by the
That's
Holy
what I meant.
Spirit
We
to.
didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about what happened with the boys.
Yeah.
Sorry. You got to come talk to me off camera if you know me and want to find out.
Yeah.
It's not that crazy, but it just was emotional.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking literally about last Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
you not being able to finish a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. And my contention still is you were getting emotional and we're going to cry, and you were saying the false narrative. I don't want to sit and cry talk. And there's 2 things wrong with that. First, doesn't matter what you want. Doesn't matter if you don't want to or do want to cry talk.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is you were very uncomfortable, and so uncomfortable that it was going to get worse and worse. Okay. The second thing is that you should have processed it, and we could have not posted it, but you should have just kept going. You should in general just keep going.
Yeah.
You start feeling a certain way and just dig into it.
Yeah.
Go through it. I feel like this. That's the right way to process life. So that was an avoidant mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't do a podcast yesterday for the same reason. What?
Correct.
So, do you want to change topics now?
Sure.
Is there more there?
No.
Because you weren't even. We
There's
still.
nothing there.
Yeah, there's none. Nope. Yeah, yeah. I can't.
I'm good. There's nothing there.
I'm fine. Okay. I'm gonna take some heat off of you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're dying. You're Nantucketing all over the place.
No, I'm not.
You kind of are.
No, I'm not.
So you want me to keep asking you then?
No.
So okay, Nantucketing all over the place. Nantucket is a safety word for conversations that Sanchez and I came up with, for people that are exactly what you're doing, which is they get to a place and they don't want to talk about the actual feeling, which Sanchez and I have never Nantucketed. We could be the exception and the weirdos, or we could have figured something out and just actually live by it.
Weirdos.
Okay, fine. Cheers to that. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness. Okay. I love you.
Love you.
I'm glad you're here.
Glad you're here.
I'm glad you stuck with it. The painting.
Mm-hmm.
This painting's called, I think it's called Imagination. Is that what I titled it? I don't even remember.
I don't remember either.
You're not on the mic.
I don't remember either.
So this painting is like, I started processing some more about how I was feeling at the school and what the school system did in general and does in general. And this is one of the paintings that came out. This is an authority figure who's wearing a mask, a clown mask, who's like has angel wings on. And the feeling I have is just of being miserable in school a lot, and miserable in that you got some fuddle-duddle person up front who's an authority figure who like has power over you that you don't have over them, and like they hold the gate to get to the next thing. It's like you want to go on to third grade, you got to pass second grade, blah, blah, blah. Elementary school's a little different, but high school especially. And this is, let's, for lack of a better word, say it's me. And one of the things that this is a fucking Bert there. This shut up. Bert. This is just an imaginary character with a good heart who's comforting me. It's just like a big anteater guy, and the character just kind of came out with some stuff, so I just went with it. But the idea is that one of the things that I did in school was just use my imagination to get through the boredom and the repetitiveness and the lack of interest I had, and to jump through the hoop without being a complete asshole to the teacher. So like, you got to be quiet and sit in your desk. Okay. So a lot of kids don't. They get up or they bug somebody.
Yeah.
Right. And I did plenty of that too. But like, I got really good at reading the room and knowing how far I could push it. I just did that from a very young age naturally. And pushed it too far often. There's the line. Right. Like, there it is.
Yeah.
And, made a teacher cry before, and made my mom cry doing the same. And people just like, this is, get slapped because of it. Like, it's just whatever. So in school, though, a lot of times what I do is draw and doodle and write. And even into my adult years in school, and then as a teacher in meetings, etc., it's like my imagination would at least get me through these moments of just terrible feelings and conditions. Mm-hmm. So, and it's like the system and the way it's set up is, it's set up for, like, I didn't freely choose this person that's acting in some sort of parent capacity in a real way. They're like, I'm your temporary father for the next hour. And you're like, but you're not a very good one. And I don't like you, but I have to like sort of pretend to like you in order for you to leave me alone. And then the feeling of like dread or being trapped or feeling despair or hopelessness, and being able to turn to a piece of paper and just process in that way. And then now I sort of do that for a living. I like literally paint and draw and make things to process emotions. And I'm not even in that space anymore, but it's like I'm doing that. And I remember like, okay, that at least saved me. At least I had that during those times. And it was kind of, I never took it as like, I'm going to do this for a living. It was more like, I just need to do this because I'm going to go crazy otherwise. And I remember a couple of times teachers would call me out, even in an adult. I'd be sitting there in an adult. I'm training to be a teacher at 23 or 4 or 5 something. And this teacher's like, oh, what are you doing? You're drawing. Like, what did I just talk about? And I'd be able to just rattle it off because I wasn't tuned out. I'd be like, brrr, and he'd be like, oh, I guess that's pretty good. Like, yeah, fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here. Like, I'm listening. I just am trying to like not if I just focus on you, I'll imagine strangling you to death. So I'm going to draw and do something else because what you're saying is not that interesting or important or dope.
Yeah.
But I have to be here to get my license to go make money, blah, blah. There's a lot of that kind of crap.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the space I was in. And behind it is always a painting that I'm kind of working on to get to this one. And you can see like another version of the teacher back here and a cuss word. And I had like multiple students at one point facing a teacher. The concept was sort of always there, like F the guy up front who pretends he's a saint who's really a clown and who's hiding and has a mask on, who is drinking the poison and is part of the cult of like education is the answer to life. And it's not, it never has been. And they don't understand how modern of a thing it is. It's like a new religion. That type of education where like everyone has to go is like extremely modern. And they have bought into the entire system because there's such a lack of understanding of like the philosophical need to have, like everyone has a religion, like you have to. There's something like in our psychology that's made to worship and made to grab onto absolutes. And so when there's a vacuum, like when church starts to get right, because churches screw up the relationship often.
Yeah.
They get it wrong, etc. So then society sort of goes, yeah, we don't need that. We got science. So then we got people that worship science or worship evolutionary biology, which is better than some things like drugs or something, but anything except for reaching the actual God and connecting is gonna turn to ash in your mouth. And the education system is just that. It's a whole bunch of people that are like, they're at their church and they're preaching the gospel of, you do education, you can be like me and have your soul saved. They don't use soul saved, but they go like a good life and a happiness, basically, which is just not true. So you just got a whole bunch of people that say that, do that, and act as if. And the worst ones are the most sort of inspirational, the ones that believe it the most. Look at me, look how dope I am. And that's because they're the trickiest. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of people that are there that are just complete fuddle-duddles, biology teacher, and they're just like, don't give a shit anymore. And there's like, they're actually more accurate to what it is. They treat it like a DMV worker, which is closer to what a teacher is than something else. A DMV worker, a state-sponsored institution that's mandatory, and everybody has to wait in that same fucking line, right? Yeah. And it sucks. And nobody at the DMV is like, this is amazing. You're so lucky we exist. Right? It's like everyone's like, next. It sucks. Well, school's much more that than what the purveyors of education want to claim, which is some sort of sanctuary for higher existence. That's just a fact. Anyway, so this painting is that. I have a lot of strong emotions that are negative in nature and feelings of betrayal, and it's literally when you fall in love with someone and they turn out to be not who you think they are. Yeah. The same with a family member, a parent who eventually like betrays you in such a way that you're like, really? And it's that, like the school system did that to me. Like I bought into it. I was like their golden boy. Yeah. I was good at it. Yeah. And I did it all. And then I even came back to the system that sort of bred me and gave birth to me. And as a teacher, they sort of, the tribe immediately started wanting to weed me out. I'm like, what the like I came from you. Like I love you so much. I want to like help make you better. And they're like, nope. I'm like, oh, this isn't my people. Yeah. The fuck, I was tricked. Why did I try so hard to get into this stupid place? So anyway, I Yeah. So when times get hard in the gallery here, one of the things I easily pull from is I don't feel like that anymore.
Yeah.
Though this is it's hard to do this and to keep plugging away, and the confusion and the feast and famine often, and uncertainty and the unknown and all that stuff. Like, I came from a place with a very secure paycheck and a very secure pension, and I was intensely unsatisfied and intensely full of anxiety and stress and being attacked and picked on and bullied and just straight made ostracized, et cetera, and going like, is this worth it?
Yeah.
So God was good enough to me to get me out of there. So it's easier for me to have gratitude than maybe you, because you have never been in that.
Mm-mm.
You've never been in that situation. So you don't have anywhere to grab from to go, this is way better than that.
Yeah.
And I do.
Plus, I think we're different in that sense also. Like,
I don't know how different we are in
like
that
sitting
sense.
in that meeting, like, didn't bother me.
Yeah, but yes, so we could be different, and we definitely are. But you've been in a little bit like back to the State Farm days where the boss was starting to get weirdo, and like you just got to bounce super fast. Like the second he got weird, and I sat in that for years and years and years and years and took like the weirdness, you know what I'm saying, and felt like I couldn't get out of it. Like you've never been like had to lead the household, provide no matter what, and put up with a bunch of shit to do that. You just haven't.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But we are also different. And for instance, Sanchez can sit in the meetings much better than I can. But he's also doesn't enjoy them. He just is like tolerates them better than me.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know that that's better or worse. It is a different thing. And it could be he's like, bro, I've been in a way, like, for instance, he came from uncertainty. And so I think maybe coming from a financial uncertainty as a kid makes it so that the security of actually having a job like that makes him like, I'd rather do this than starve.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't come from starving.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it's like to starve and go, if only I had, so you get what I'm saying? I don't have that.
I don't either. I don't have that either.
Right. So in some sense, this is the most you've ever had to struggle right now in life. You want to talk about it?
Nah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm thinking about if this is the most I've ever had to struggle.
Oh.
Like,
well, yeah.
maybe in adulthood, yeah.
Well, it's the most you've had to struggle
financially.
Yeah,
Yes.
and uncertainty but not necessarily emotionally.
Yeah.
You had like struggling with family estrangement has been harder.
Yeah.
In some sense. I mean, a huge sense.
Yeah.
It seems like the struggle is much more, this is amazing. What we're doing is amazing. We're with God. We're doing it. Why isn't it working like we think it should, or at least like other people seem to be being successful? Or why does it have to be so volatile and so close to the margins of having to close shop all the time? And then logically, it's like, are we doing something wrong? And if we are, help us. What do we need to fix? Or is this just part of it and we're not doing anything wrong and this is just how it needs to be for now?
Yeah.
Which I think that's actually the answer.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just, it's part of learning. It's part of the newness, the transition, and the grind of it. And again, you haven't been up in front of the grind for to have all the steps behind you to go, oh, I've been through all these. I know you just have watched them.
Yeah.
But I've been through them, and it is hard. It's not easy right now. It's not like an easy time. I'm like it was way worse back in '87. It's like not like that.
That was when I was born.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't hella old at that time. I was like 7 or something. So chill. It was a exaggeration.
No, I know. I
You
thought
just
you
wanna
just
say-
randomly said that year, and
I
I was
did.
like, "Hey, that was when I was born." Weird.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
Oh my god.
Do you like? Come on, babe.
What?
You gotta bring. It's like, you gotta bring stuff to the podcast. You're just listening, and I'm picking the topics, and then and then what? Pick a topic,
I'm
or
a good listener.
you are. And I like that you're not just super talky to talk, because I would gloss over. But also you have to talk on a podcast. So I'm going, just got to go back and forth. Like nothing I said triggered anything for, oh yeah, I remember back when that, yeah. Like you're just like,
No.
cool story, dude. Cool story on the painting. Cool story. Cool. I didn't struggle. Cool.
I didn't.
Done.
I mean, I hated school, but I didn't struggle. That's probably why I am like the way I am. Like I can put up with it.
Hated schools. Oh, I saw
didn't
you.
like
I saw you at
school.
school. You loved it. You
So
loved
dumb,
school, bruh. You loved school.
You're literally stupid.
You were like the biggest lover of school I've ever seen.
No, I wasn't. That's not school.
I know. Let's not call what it was that you loved.
You're hella dumb.
So, are we done? I don't think we're done.
You
I'm
can
just
ask me questions
about what?
to like help me speak.
Oh, I try. How you feeling? Fine. Cool. How you feeling? How do you feel about the painting? What do you think about that? What did you think when you saw
I like
it?
the painting. I like it more now than I did before.
Okay. What did you think when you first saw it?
I thought I didn't know that was an imaginary dude.
Oh, what did you think it was?
I don't know. I thought it was like another monster dude making him like, you know how like in movies where principals go behind the student and like put their hand on him and
all weird.
Yeah.
Oh, so you thought him as a creeper?
No, just like a bad guy.
Yeah, but see, his heart is good.
Yeah, I see that.
And he's got a calm eye and a patting him on the head.
I see.
It's his imagination comforting him.
Yeah.
All right, now you get it.
It's not as dark as I thought it was.
Gotcha. That guy's actually dark, and he doesn't look it. That's kind of the point,
Yeah.
too. They put on a good face, but they're not dope.
Also, it's like, this is your view of school. Not everybody not every teacher is a shit teacher.
Yeah, I know. Not 100. Like
you weren't a shit teacher.
Okay, yes. So maybe, but it's more like this. Back when there was slavery, there were slave owners that treated their slaves very well. Mm-hmm. They didn't abuse them. They sort of fed them, treated them well. But because they're in the institution of slavery, which is fundamentally evil.
Yeah.
When you say, oh, they were a good slave owner, it's like, yeah, but they were a slave owner.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's something like that. That's an extreme example, but it's still, teachers are part of the system that makes kids learn, forces them to sit still and learn with no free will involved. And that fundamentally is a problem. That real learning isn't the thing itself you're learning is important for a reason, not a process to get through a hoop, to get to a degree, to get to somewhere else. Like, one of the last things I've learned recently is how to do this whole podcasting, and like, and like, I can learn and do that, but I didn't learn how to learn in school that way.
Yeah.
I learned how to learn because I'm like, okay, I need this to happen. I want this to happen. I'm being called. Now I got to figure out how to execute it. That kind of learning is really beautiful. And you can go to an expert teacher, mentor to get, or YouTube now, which we didn't used to have, or a book, or which my favorite way to learn anything is just freaking do it and then just stumble along and go, okay, here's the problem, fix that exact problem. And that's how I've learned anything that's been valuable that has stuck and kept going.
That's very a rare human being.
I don't know. I don't know if that's that rare.
It is rare.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is that I also have learned in school, and none of that stuff has been useful at all. Like, it actually had to unlearn it. Like, sit there and listen to an asshole. Like, take shit. Like, kiss ass. Like, play the game. Like, all that stuff I can do. But I'm like, oh, that's gross that I learned that.
Mm-hmm.
It's gross that I learned how to boost this dude's ego when he was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be that. It's wrong. And when I got to God, he's like, yeah, that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They conditioned you to behave and act and praise things that aren't worth praising, such as the entire education system, such as learning just for the sake of learning versus because it's got some value in it. Right? Like, I don't know. Math is a beautiful thing. It's gorgeous, amazing. It's cool. It's not for everybody to learn these intricate details of math. Depends where you're at in life and your processor and what you actually need. Learning algebra is for a select few people in the human population. It's not for every person. It doesn't. And this idea, oh, you'll use it. So now you know. Very few people use any algebraic anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people that study science and math on a high level, they use it, but they don't. Like, I don't use algebra at all. Either do you at all in any part of our life. And I taught that shit for years. And that's what I mean is like, that's not a rare human thing. That's an objective fact of, that's what makes it bad. That you're just learning it because someone said like, this is good. Now, fundamentally, reading, writing, and arithmetic, these basic things that you can learn at a relatively young age are important. And then everything else is sort of kind of depends on what you do.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, not every teacher is a complete dick, asshole, murderer. There's different levels of it. And many teachers get in for the right reason. They think it's good, and they never sort of go, wait a second, is this actually good?
Yeah.
And it's the only thing we have currently. Like, to try to change that entire system is like, just no way. It's huge. It's like changing the military complex or something, or the medical system. It's like, you become a part of it and you just do your best within it. And I get that. But I think something happens to teachers, and it breeds a certain type of person that is they get told and they act as if they're holier than thou, that they're doing some saintly job. And it's a very big ego boost to be a teacher and to get people looking like, oh, you're a teacher, you're such a saint.
Yeah.
You're so good. Like, I know.
Yeah.
Like, that's, and it's like, nah.
Yeah.
No, you're not. I know, like, no, you're not even sorta. What you are is an inflated ego, broken ass person. And you have a captive audience that has an incentive to laugh at your jokes, to give you praise, to give you gifts, because they're trying to get something out of you, and they think it's a game of who likes me and who doesn't because they're young. And then you take that and go, I have a soapbox, then you're bored. It's cool. Let's not talk about it.
No, I'm listening.
You just yawned.
Bruh, I didn't yawn.
You were yawning. Let's play the camera back.
No.
I'm in tune to my
Soapbox.
audience. I'm super in tune to my audience. I was a teacher for a long time. That's part of what made me decent, right? I'm like super in tune to who's in front of me and what's going
No,
on.
you are.
Way,
Yeah.
right? So
Way.
I'm way into like, there's only one of you. I was good at doing it with 30 plus. So I can see you and go, oh, this isn't interesting to you. It's fine. What's interesting to you?
It is interesting. I like listening to what you have to say
Okay.
a lot of the time.
But not this time.
Most of the time.
Right. So you want to talk about food?
No.
What were you just feeling when you were yawning? Too much? Belaboring?
No.
I'm not mad.
No, I know.
I'm just like, I'm not going to talk if it's not. If you're not interested, man, these people are like, what? You like love me and support me and think I'm a decent human, etc. So like these people, you maybe are not into it, especially if you're yawning. Maybe they are and they're like, why'd you yawn? I was really into what he's saying. But we're talking, this is our thing. You said pick a question. I say, what'd you think and feel? And what I hear is you like when I talk about them, you appreciate the painting more.
Yeah.
In general. It's kind of why we do it.
Yeah.
And that's been true in general from you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say to the person that there's an artist that I don't tell anybody what I meant when I made the piece because I don't want to ruin anybody's experience, because I don't want them to feel bad about what they bring to it, their subjective experience. Meaning, someone could have saw this and went, this reminds me of like my childhood and clowns, and it reminds me of my favorite animal, anteater, and
Hating school.
maybe it's not. Maybe it's something.
Falling asleep.
No. Sleeping in school, like that was me. I just so slept, and this is so dope.
Yeah.
And now they smoke weed, and it's like, right? And to them, it's like that's what it means.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they watch this podcast and like, fuck that. That's not what it meant at all. And then they feel bad because that's what they brought to it.
Mm.
Like they got the wrong score. They got the wrong answer.
I don't know.
And that's what I'm trying to ask you.
know.
What do you think about that artist that does not give any background to their stuff?
I don't know. I don't really. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. What do I think about him? I don't have thoughts about him.
Okay.
Like, that's just the way he does art. I like what we do.
Right, but he's making an argument. It's not, he's doing art. He's creating things, and he has an intent, and he has a thought when he's doing it.
Yeah. But he's not, like, connecting with people.
That's definitely not true. This dude's extremely famous, and people are weeping at these giant.
Really?
Yeah, this dude's extremely well off, successful, and doing things that and people are writing him letters like, I was finally able to cry over because of this, and this is what it means to me.
Because of a painting with no description?
It's a sculpture, but yeah.
Interesting.
You see it in here. You see it in here. You saw it with the t-shirt lady. She went OT. That's what it means to me. The I is an O and the T is a T. And for her, that means something. OT is a huge deal to her.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
And when I gave her the answer, she went, it'd be cooler if it was OT.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And she didn't buy it because of it.
Yeah.
But she asked. And I told her the truth.
I don't know.
But if I was trying to sell it, I would have been like, what does it mean to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. OT's perfect.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have any, I don't know. What do I think about it?
It's okay.
Cool. I don't know.
Stop. Don't get mad.
I don't know.
You told me to ask you a question. You don't like it.
No, I know, but now I'm mad because I don't know what I think of it.
Okay.
It's cool that he's able to connect with people or
this is my point.
Make them feel things.
That's what we do in here.
Yeah.
Okay. And people buy things with no captions,
Yeah.
like the middle finger,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Has a whole story on why they bought that.
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with why I did it.
Yeah.
Same with the Lucky Me sexy painting.
Yeah.
The whole reason they got it is totally different. Nothing to do with what we do.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So some of the stuff I do has captions and some doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And some has a deeper meaning that I'm called to like express and some doesn't. And this goes back to me, like it's not an absolute either way. It depends. I'm okay with people coming and putting their own interpretation on
Yeah.
stuff. There's no problem with that.
Right. I agree.
But me, I want to know what that artist actually did.
Mm-hmm.
So he's robbing me of a certain experience because I don't get to know what he thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could bring whatever, but because I'm not interested in what I think and feel as much as I'm interested in the objective truth, right?
Uh-huh.
Like I care more about what he's thinking and feeling, what the truth was when he made it and what he means. And if you do it in a certain way, like spoiler alert, now you can go, spoiler alert, I'm going to tell the meaning that I had behind it. And then that if you don't want to know, then don't.
Yeah.
So he could do it in a way that wouldn't ruin it for the person that didn't want to know. But here's the problem with that whole scenario, and I think he's sort of doing it implicitly, is that people are so lost, they don't understand that they're bringing a subjective thing to the thing. That's part of why that means so much to them. They think the thing possesses something magical that made it. And maybe it does, but they think the thing has the thing that they're putting into it. Let me give you an example. Well, let me just finish this thought. So that if he said the real reason, it would sort of offend them or hurt their feelings. That, well, that's not what I meant it. Gah. Like they, again, feel like they got something wrong.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand the difference between myself and my bias and package that I bring to a thing and the thing itself, what it possesses. I mean, and people have a hard time. And the more lost somebody is in that way, the harder time they have to do it. It's a little bit like parents and their kids. There's a built-in bias. And a lot of parents are like, my kid can't do any wrong. He's amazing. He's so special. He's the most special.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't understand that. And maybe they do, but sometimes they don't seem to understand that. No, they're just sort of like every other kid. And then they're just because they're yours, you put more value in them.
Yeah.
They're not more special. They're just yours. Which is fine if you understand that. It's not fine if you actually think they possess characteristics that are more special than other people, and they don't. More special in a way that's like my Timmy is such a good basketball player, and it's like, but he's not. He's objectively bad or something. And then you're arguing with the coach going, he should play more because he's actually better than everybody else. And the coach is going, no, he's not. He's lucky he's on the team. You see what I'm saying? That's when it gets wrong. And I think that's what people do with their own interpretation of art. They go, this is the way it was meant. This is what it means, rather than this is what I interpret it to mean. I could be wrong. So I do it, and it depends on the call, how much I talk about it and what I talk about. If you notice my abstract paintings, I don't usually say much about them. I even title them very just abstract number, whatever. So bring whatever the hell it's like an invitation. Bring whatever you want to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whatever it invokes in you.
Yeah.
Cool. You don't have to, it could mean nothing. It could just be aesthetically pleasing. It could like really evoke something. It just depends. And the more something like this, it's like I'm intending to say something.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have seen there's a lot of people that enjoy the captions, and this is an iteration of that. So we're leaning into the story behind it.
Yeah.
That in general, people tend to appreciate the story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
You and I both do. You appreciate the art more once you hear about it. And for you, it's actually hard to appreciate sometimes until you hear the reason.
Yeah.
And my contention is that's because you have your own resistance, own blocks, own ego, own stuff. And you're like, wait, what the heck? What are you doing making that naughty painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. I think that's what I meant by he's like disconnected, that artist, because there's like a like they don't know what's his message. Like he has no message.
Well, he might. He's just not saying it.
Yeah. Then it must not be that important if
That's
he's not saying
no,
it.
Not necessarily. His message could be that what you think and feel is more important than what I think and feel.
I guess. There's still a disconnect.
I don't think disconnect's the proper word, but there's a whole audience he's missing to try to protect a certain audience is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't think he's praying about it. And therefore, I think he's leaning into an absolute that's not one. Meaning, like a value system, like it's more important for people to not know the meaning behind the work on my intention because it's more important that they have openness and freedom to interpret it however they want as an absolute, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what he's holding on to. And it's like the argument is even if it's very important, it's not the most important. And that we could find the counter argument and we have to go, well, we can find examples where it's more valuable to let the person know your intention to help lead them to the meaning and to appreciate the art even more.
Yeah.
Because we've seen in here where someone looks at something, then they read the caption, then they're crying.
Mm-hmm.
They look at it, go, and then they read the meaning behind it. Oh, that happens a lot in here.
Yeah, yeah.
So that it leads them to understand how, like they're connecting to the emotions and story. Because I learned this a long time ago. The more you know the story of a person intimately, the harder it is to hate them. It's like almost 100% of the time. When you really, because a story's humanize people.
Are you saying this is true?
Yeah, I think this is a truth.
Okay.
Like a universal truth.
Yeah.
So if you like got somebody that you're really having a problem with and got them to like be in an interview and sort of like let their hair down and tell their real story about what it's like, like even if you don't agree with how they've turned out or what they're doing because of it, you sort of get it. Like I get it. I understand. I empathize with. Yeah, it'd be tough to be raped by your dad and then turn out normal.
Yeah.
I see why you're so guarded now.
Yeah.
Man, that would suck.
Mm-hmm.
And like you sort of can empathize with, yeah, I don't know what I would do if I had that backpack to wear of burden of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that, but I can understand that's got to be very difficult to like grow up a very particular way, healthy, whatever. And I'm not saying it excuses murderers, et cetera, but when we hear people's story, when we really listen and try to empathize and understand that any one of us with a very particular set of circumstances could have turned out way differently, way worse, then you can empathize. And so he's sort of taking that part away a bit, and maybe that's what you mean. He's not sharing his story as much So they're not connecting with the artist as much as they could.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going, I don't want you to connect with the artist. I want you to connect with the art. And it's like, to me, the call has been to share what I'm really thinking and feeling. So that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So I lean into vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've noticed is that leaning into vulnerability allows other people to get to that place without having to do the work I did. Like I'm giving them an avenue they didn't have. That's
Mm-hmm.
what songs do, right?
Yeah.
We talk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I don't know, like,
Okay, change the topic. Event. We're thinking about having an event coming up.
yeah.
What we've got so far is we're going to do a buffet
Mm-hmm.
type thing. People really like the buffet I created, that we
I
created.
don't know if I would call it a buffet.
Okay, spread.
I think of like freaking.
Okay, yes.
Hometown.
Not a buffet. It was not a buffet. It was not hometown buffet with a glass sneeze guard and like pasta and none of that. It was a nice spread where we're sitting,
Yeah.
and people liked it.
Yes.
It was presented well.
Yes.
And because even Peanut was like, what were they like? He thought people were loving it because the food tasted a certain way. I'm like, no, people loved it because it looked cool.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it's like a grape, a cracker, a piece of cheese is like not that dope of a meal. It just was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just looked cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're thinking about doing an event that has that
Mm-hmm.
and some sort of some drinks, and in general as a gratitude for anybody who's messed with us. I don't know, just sharing the space. It always feels way better.
I know. I agree.
It's like, if we can keep doing it, we'll do it. Let's host. It's just that we're trying to run a business, and it's hard to go like, we got to make money.
Yeah.
That's just always a tough thing. It's like, it's a secondary thing, but it's part of why we're not as successful financially. But I've always chased my soul more than money. And you,
Chase both.
not necessarily. I'm not saying, you just like don't realize how much that's true of me. Maybe that's all I've ever done.
No, I think that's true.
No. Meaning, I know, but then you go like, can't we make money too? I'm like, yeah, but it's never the thing that's like driving me.
Yeah. I know that.
Like, I became a teacher going, screw money. Like, I want my soul to be okay. Back when I thought teaching was a good place for my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out it wasn't, but I thought it was. So even disconnected, I was like trying to choose things to do that filled my soul and it wasn't for something material, which is this, but now I'm being called to do it. But financially, at this moment, feels worse than being a teacher, which is hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel? What are you thinking?
Why do you do that?
Do what? How does that make you feel?
How does what? Like,
yeah, look, this is a conversation. So I'm going, here's a idea. And then you go, oh yeah, it has been hard. I'm struggling right now. It's your time to
Yeah.
process.
yeah.
But you're not. You're going, is it time to go yet?
I mean, we already talked about the struggle. Like, nothing's changed. It's still a freaking struggle.
Well, what's the struggle though? It's a struggle, but it's been different. Like, it evolves, and
The struggle.
we're gonna
is
have one podcast where we talked about the
literally
struggles.
Not
That's it. You don't talk about it ever again. Look, here's how it works. Here's how it actually works. You're actually struggling. And then you struggle with struggling. Like, that you don't like that you're struggling.
Mhm.
And you're saying, but we already talked about it one time, done, never again. No, that's not how it works.
It's like I have nothing new to add.
No,
Like,
you-
Yeah,
yeah, but-
we're still struggling.
Yeah, but look,
Feels like shit to be broke.
yeah, but that's a thing.
I know.
Then I struggle with the fact that I'm not being grateful for what I do have. And one of the things you have been saying repeatedly, we have bread for today,
Yeah.
right? Which that means that help, that biblical story and that analogy and that reminder.
It does help, but
It
at
also-
times it's like fucking stupid. It feels fake.
Right. It feels like it feels like toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Like, at least I'm
Still
not
have
dead.
bread.
At least I'm not dead while like an alligator's eating my left leg. I'm being stabbed in the back and a rock is crushing me. At least I got to experience this. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, what that what is frustrating for me to hear is that you don't understand. It sounds like you don't understand that fundamental thing, which is if we have to come up here every week and go, it was another hard week, here's some specific details, we're still struggling, that's okay. And part of it is why it's how you process so you don't get built up and have a fit next Tuesday and can't do a podcast.
I get it.
You have to talk about it when it's real and relevant. So you're going, I'm still having similar feelings before. So for instance, this morning texting, which we do every morning. Right?
Yeah.
We sort of text and check in.
Uh-huh.
Right? And it's actually a lot like this. You go, hi, how are you? And I go,
For real.
and then you go, I hear you, I get it. And I'm like, cool. And then you're like, cool, I get it, thank you. And I'm like, how are you? Fine. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Oh no, I'm still waking up. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't abnormal.
Right.
I process a lot. And I'm constantly trying to get you to process, but you're very resistant.
You are very processy. Wait, what are you doing?
I'm just taking a break after that. You just took a friggin' bone whittling shot at me.
Wait, while you're up, can you turn the air on? I'm dying of heat. And the light.
Talk to them. Tell people something.
He's hella processy.
Hella processy.
You do.
I am processy, but yeah.
Besides Sanchez, who do you know that freaking talks and processes as much as you?
Nobody.
Okay.
Oh, actually, that's not true. Some other people do. They're just not as efficient. So there's like a balance. There's like some people that talk a lot, but they say nothing. They're not processing. They're vomiting.
No, I don't mean just talk to talk.
Yeah.
I mean
Who's
talk
processing?
to process.
Yeah, like really doing
Yes.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Your answer is nobody.
nobody. Yeah.
So you're
Well, there's
different.
some. Nah, but there's some. They're just resistant in different ways. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like, I don't have to understand everything. I don't. Like,
yeah.
I'm fine with not
the
understanding.
mystery of life.
You.
I'm turning this way just to take the hit. Just go ahead. Give it to me.
No, there's no hit.
Yeah.
You just have to, like,
I'll have to.
understand everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, me, I just don't talk very much. I talk. At home, I talk. Not as much as you. For real.
Go ahead. Get it out. You have the mic. I'll turn
No,
mine
I'm
off.
not trying to be mean.
I'm not
I'm
doing
just
that.
saying that's what this podcast is. It's not me talking very much.
That's what all of our life is.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is that you ought to talk more.
I do listen though, and I do understand, and I do practice, and I do like hear, like, yeah, I think those are the things. That's
Practice
it.
what?
Just like what you say, and like when you're talking to the boys or to me or to the
Yeah,
kids,
you're listening. You're
or
paying
like,
attention.
I listen and I pay attention,
Yes.
and I
get
like,
that. I'm never accused you of not being present, and
no, I know,
unless you're on your phone.
I know, but I'm not just like a mute that like just.
No, you're not a mute. Right. That's not the claim.
I know.
It's just we're doing a podcast. So, and you're going, ask me a question. I do, and you get like stuck or pissed or like.
I just like, what do you think it'd feel?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
It
what do I think about an artist that doesn't put captions on his art?
Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
cool. Good for him.
Okay.
You do you, boo.
Oh my! Don't call him boo. I have a whole different problem calling somebody boo. Where are we? We're trying.
We were talking about the event, and then
We were talking about the event.
spiraled
Yeah, but
to
we talk
something
about I'm
else.
processing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we at the very beginning of this podcast were like, you started crying a couple times, couple 10, and those I'm like, that's why you need to process.
Yeah.
Am I crying all the time?
No.
No. And my point is, I'm not
you
crying.
think that you don't cry because you process too much?
Not too much.
Or
No.
I mean process?
I'd honest. I know it. Mm.
So when you have cried, you're not processing.
No. I'm processing then too. Like
Which I've never seen you cry, so
that's not true.
that is definitely true.
That's not true.
When have I seen you cry?
When Riley left.
You didn't cry in front of me. You cried at the shop.
But I cried in front of you. I didn't weep in front of you. I cried. I cried in front of Sanchez multiple times. And I'm pretty sure I cried in front of you when Justin's mom thing happened. But so here, hold on a second. What I'm saying is I process a lot how I'm feeling, and so it's usually not super intense, or if it is intense, I'm processing it. There's also the like, we're different, and maybe I turn to anger more than I turn to sadness or something. But when you get angry, you cry too. So I don't know what. But I don't stop processing when I'm feeling. Is my point. And you do.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that part of why, like, we could go into like females and males and how much emotions, but like I process feelings and feel stuff deeply a lot, have for a long time.
Yeah.
And probably always. And being honest about that has done well. But it's too much for people in certain whatevers. But it's not because I'm wrong. It's because they are. They don't process what they're feeling. People avoid what they're feeling a lot, way more than what they want to admit.
Yeah, I agree.
For that reason that you're doing it is my point. That's why they do that. To stop vulnerability. It's the ego going, nope. And I'm saying, I'm just straight processing. And I can feel it well up at times. And it just doesn't go up because I'm really talking about the thing. Even when we were talking to Annie the other day, and I was like, I don't know what we're doing. I'm just praying. And I felt the like, and she felt it too and said like, that's okay. That's good. Maybe she felt it. I felt like she felt it. I don't know. But I felt it. But I just didn't. I just was like, there it is. Because I'm being honest how I feel.
Yeah, I get it.
Like I don't know what I'm doing. I just pray. And that somehow feels vulnerable because they're in here going like, this is sick. Like, I want to know what you're doing. It's like, on one hand, I don't want to teach. On the other hand, I don't know how to teach even. I just literally do stuff and pray about it.
Yeah.
And then stop when it's time to stop. I've leaned heavily on that. I don't trust myself or have faith in me or love myself or think I'm worthy of all this. I just go, God, what?
know.
He loves me, blah, blah. So that gets vulnerable. It gets or when I remember talking about when my dad left and when he said, I don't want to know. I was so deeply hurt. And I'm talking about it again. But I've talked about it a lot since then. I just talk about it. I'm like, dang, and I get right to that feeling. Yeah. And I say it. And doing that over and over, like I practice what I'm saying, that when we seek truth and try to tell the story of our life in a very clear, articulate way and do it repeatedly, it becomes part of the fabric of our story. And so all the spikes turn into like some less of a challenge, and it's one full complete string that makes sense. And I think all humans want their life to make sense. It's something built into us. And when things don't make sense, that's when we ruminate, spin, break down, have psychotic breaks, do things that are way out of, it's like, that's when things get hard to deal with because we're not telling ourselves correct narratives. And that's what I was trying to do earlier with you is go, you're telling yourself false narratives. You're saying I can't.
Yeah.
It's not true.
I get it.
So it's like, you don't want to be the person that cries all the time, yet you won't do the thing that makes it so you don't cry all the time, which is to go through the moments that you're crying and talk. And keep talking about them until they become something you can talk about without breaking down completely. And maybe you never get there, but that you try. In anger management, back whenever I learned that from the lady, she talked about a time where she was raped while she was pregnant. And she's the one who's like helping all us with our anger. And I asked her, can you tell me about that in front of everybody? It was fascinating. Like, what? Give me the details. And I wasn't praying.
What's fascinating?
Her story is crazy.
Oh.
She got raped by a police officer when she was pregnant.
Yeah.
That's not a normal story.
Yeah.
That's traumatic. And she just sort of said it, and I'm like, hold on a second. Like, I just know that's something. And so I asked her, and she told the story of it. And at the end, she went, "This is the first time I've ever told that story without crying." And I was sort of like, I felt good about asking the question, and I knew there was something to that. And the fact that she has had to tell that story over and over at some point and done it, and she probably could have done it more often earlier, and she would have got there sooner.
Yeah, I get it.
That's it. And then I learned it when I was a chaplain. That what are we doing? Why are we even doing this? Right? I was a law enforcement chaplain, and we were trained, pretty intense training actually. Looking back, it's like 8 months of like intense training. And good, but to go to, what we did is we would get phone calls in the middle of the night or whenever when we were on. I just was on in the middle of the night. Get dressed up in chaplaincy gear and go to a crime scene where someone had just died. And then my job was to bring peace and prayer and to help the victims that were left alive that had just lost somebody, help them. I was a community chaplain, help them start the process of healing immediately. This is what's so fascinating. This is why when you're sitting there like, I can't talk about it, it's like, I went to people that just had people murdered in front of them, and I'm trying to get them to talk.
Yeah.
I know it to be true.
Yeah.
So I'm walking over the dead body going, "Hi, I'm Chaplain Jesse. I'm here for you. Here's some water. and some Kleenex.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Mm-hmm.
Pray and be quiet. And then when they don't talk, I go, hey. And so you have somebody in front of you that knows this and has done it, and what we were being taught is there's a whole bunch of ways to hurt people and to hurt them from healing, and there's a few ways to do it right. And the main way is to listen, which you are a very good listener, and I process a lot, and I know I need it, but you need to process too. That we all do, and that we're all living through different types of trauma all the time. Mm-hmm. To be alive in this world, you're living through trauma, mm-hmm. and you have to process it, and you have to do it a lot, way more than what people think. And what people typically do is they go to try to avoid it, numb it, entertain it out, distract from it. Mm-hmm. I want to go to Yard House and have a bunch of drinks with a bunch of distraction versus sit in the gallery and get real. Right?
Okay.
It's no, because it's fast. That's what I think is what I'm saying. Like, you don't look at your friendships as a place to go process.
No, actually I do.
Okay, why would you ever give that up when you're having a bad day? It's like, that's when I need it the most.
Why I don't want to.
You don't want to go cry.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
I agree with
okay,
you.
Okay.
I totally agree.
Okay. So when I'm going, hey, how do you think and feel? What do you think and feel? Like, it's real. Like, you need to get more in tune with it. I think that's just in general. Human beings need to. And you were raised not to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, it's not like you're the only one like this in your family. Nobody is like this in your family. No? Mm-hmm. And no one's like me in my family. But I sought and figured it out and learned.
Yeah, you're a very unique individual.
Okay, whatever. You've established that. And my family thinks I'm unique bad.
Yeah, I know. And they're awfully wrong.
Right. But, okay, well. So you're like, you're very processy. And I'm like, it is important.
I agree.
It's like, I almost want to just do that only. Like, it's kind of what I do all day.
Yeah, you're processy.
All the time.
Yeah,
right. But
constantly.
Though it's not an absolute, it's a way to constantly get to him. Mm-hmm. One way to think of what God is like, he wants us to come in honesty, but we're all so distracted and so not being honest, we can't even get to him because we're so stuck, choked up. Like, you don't want to cry when you go to God. Like, that's what he wants.
Yeah.
What are you actually feeling when you come to me? Yeah. I'm frustrated, God. It's okay. You don't need to come to me like, I'm so grateful. Yeah. He's faking. He knows you're faking.
Yeah.
I'm super frustrated.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then the next step is this valid? Is this my ego? Is this correct? Is my perspective off? Is my mindset wrong? Mm-hmm. Or is this actually sad? Am I being ungrateful? Mm-hmm. Is there a touch of that? How much? To be open to that. But you got to be able to be in tune to that and open to it. How you feeling? What do you think after all that?
It's a good sesh.
Wait, so you're not going to process and we're just going to be done? It was a good sesh? What?
That was a good, truth session you just gave me.
Oh, got you. So
I agree with you.
How are you feeling?
I definitely don't process as much as I need to, for sure. And that's definitely come from my upbringing, for sure.
Do you want to talk about that?
I can remember trying to, but just getting shut down.
Mm.
So.
How does that make you feel?
I don't know. It makes me feel like I'm glad I'm here and learning.
But still resisting.
I'm not resisting. It's just hard.
How does it make you feel to think back to being shut down when you were trying to process? Do you have a perfect example in your mind?
No, there's just a lot of times.
So walk through an example.
No.
Whoa.
No.
No?
No.
So you're going to resist processing that? Cool. We're right back to the beginning. This is it.
No,
This
because I
is-
don't want to like talk shit.
You're not
on,
talking
like,
shit.
The people who like shut me down.
It's not talking shit. It's just the truth. You're not trying to harm them. You're not gossiping. You're just going, here's how this went. I'd go to so-and-so and they would say, you shouldn't feel that way. You should, or you're overreacting, or what?
Yeah, just like all of that actually.
You don't need to feel like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
come
it's
on.
okay,
Oh, come on.
give them a pass.
Oh, come on. Yeah. Or give him a, yeah.
Yeah.
Give him a pass was one.
You just gotta put out. That's just how she is.
Oh, that's just how she is.
Yeah.
She hurt my feelings. That's just how she is.
Yeah.
Well, that hurts my feelings too. That's just how I am.
Yeah. For real.
It's just how we are. We're all just suck.
Yeah.
Cool. You have permission to suck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It makes me feel angry and hurt and frustrated, and it makes me feel protective, and it makes me feel like I want to shake somebody really hard. and I've tried to do that, and there's resistance there too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resistance to truth and reality
A
on all
lot.
levels.
Yep.
So I'm glad you're here too. Trying.
Trying.
Is there something I could do to help?
No. Nope.
No. No.
No.
Have you come to peace with that? Or are you still coming to terms with that part of life? That you were...
No, I'm still coming to terms with it for sure.
Got it. It's not like settled.
No.
You haven't like gone, oh yeah,
And
you
I
were...
think it's like still going on, kind
Right.
of. Like maybe it's gotten a little bit better, but it's still like.
Yeah. So... Right. So in some sense, the lack of support you had at one point still exists in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you still have to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's better, but not good.
Yeah. It's better, but not good. Yeah.
That's tough. What are you feeling? Come on.
Feeling freaking
Dicey? Tired? Sore butt?
Definitely sore.
Sore butt. These stools get the butt.
I know. We need like a couch.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
Nah. I don't know if stools are the answer, but I don't know if a couch is either. It's the other extreme.
Some comfy chair. Cushiony something.
Maybe. Maybe this helps us keep the time. Oh, it's been about an hour. My butt's extremely sore. Hour and a half, and I can't sit anymore. Keeps our podcast
For real.
short enough. We're not done.
Oh.
So you better get to the feelings.
I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling better. Cheers.
Oh my.
What?
Not fine and better.
Fine and better.
Okay, so what are you going to do to work on processing?
Talking more. Talking when I don't want to talk.
Like in some sense, you're that voice that tells you, I don't want to talk right now because I don't want to cry, because I don't want to cry, talk the whole time. That's a trickery devil voice. It's evil. It's wrong. It's your ego. It's trying to protect you, but it's not. It's actually hurting you, which is what our ego does often. So when you have a date with a friend and you don't want to cry talk, your answer is, we're going to cry talk this time, so I'm going to go to the gallery and meet you somewhere private so I can actually cry talk. I need to process.
Yeah.
So can you listen while I cry?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Because what I think is that you don't want to see me cry talk. Is that true?
No.
No. You could say that to your friend. I'm sort of going hypothetical. You could literally
I
go,
know they wouldn't care.
okay, but you could say it. I'm feeling like I'm going to cry talk. Do you mind if I cry talk? Because if you mind, I'm going to have to cancel. Why don't you say that?
I know they don't mind. They
Okay.
would be okay with it.
You understand you're robbing people of that too. Like being able to be there for someone in a real way when they're really going through something actually feels really good as a person that loves that person.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm here for you. I'm getting it. It's not like, have you ever been in a, like, this fucking little crybaby?
Mm-mm.
How dare they? I've only felt like that when they're actually a crybaby, like, and they're using and they're feeling sorry for themselves and they're whack and they're not taking advice and that's the only time, but it's very rare even then. So I'm asking you, what are you going to do to work on this narrative that you back up with actions that's causing you and other people harm? Which is, I am not going to talk if I have a strong emotion. Well, guess what? You have a whole bunch of strong emotions.
I know.
So then you're choosing not to talk a lot when you should.
Mm-hmm.
And you agree that the truth is you should process more, not less.
More.
Maybe not as processy as your husband. I'm processy. I'm the weirdo that's so processy.
It's true. You know that too. It's okay.
I'm trying to get back to you. What are you going to do to...
I'm going to try to talk more. I don't know the answer.
I just gave you one. Hey, friend, I'm feeling like I'm going to cry talk the whole time. Can we text instead of meeting up so I can cry talk without having to face you? Can we meet at a private place?
It's not just about friends, though.
That's one of the areas. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
but that's one of the like you're missing out on these times and not letting them experience that and be there for you and not processing and turning to comfort seeking. Can we just get cheese danishes? Can we just
You're
have
being
a
too
drink
processing for me.
right now? What are you talking about?
Stop.
Stop what? Stop what?
Bro.
What?
Processing.
I'm trying to help you get a plan. You're going, oh, I'm going to work on it. That's like saying, hey, you need to lose weight. I'll work on it. How? I have no idea. Well, let me give you some examples. Nah. Which means you don't really want to work on it, which means you're just trying to avoid the conversation.
No, I am going to work on it with
And-
you. I'm going to
Oh, you're going to start with me,
Yeah.
not with friends.
No.
Got it. You're going to start on the podcast?
No.
No?
I'm going to start when I feel something to come talk to you.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Actionable plan. That's enough. That's enough. Are we done? Because you are like wiggling in your seat.
Yeah, I know. I'm ready to be done.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
If we publish.